For this video, we're going to be discussing solving and graphing two-step inequalities. So when we're solving an inequality, let's first start by talking about the procedure for that. So when we're solving an inequality, it's very similar to solving an equation. The steps are all going to be the same. The only difference is in the sign. When we multiply or divide by a negative number, the inequality symbol changes. So for example, if I want to solve this inequality, same as with an equation, I divide both sides by -3. What happens? We get x, right? This was a negative x, now it's a positive x. This 15 now becomes -15, so the sign on both of these numbers changed, and then also our inequality symbol has to change. So all of the signs change. Basically, we just need to flip the middle. So anytime the coefficient of x is positive or negative, we're going to flip the sign. It doesn't matter that this number is negative. That doesn't actually make a difference. Only the thing that matters is the number that is with our variable. So for example, I've got b divided by -5 over here. To undo dividing by -5, I multiply both sides by -5. These cancel. I get b on this side. Negative times a negative is a positive. 20 times 5 is 100. And then this symbol has to flip because I multiplied by a negative number. So that's all we've got to do. It's that the only difference is that the sign has to change if we multiply or divide by a negative number. So let's start with example 1. It says solve and graph 25 plus 3x is less than or equal to 40. So if we think back to to how we solve an equation, it's very similar. Our first step is to get rid of this 25. We do that by subtracting 25 on both sides. Do that and we get 3x is less than 15. Then I need to divide both sides by 3. On this side they cancel. I'm going to have x. On the other side I'm going to have 5. Because this is a positive 3, however, my sign stays the same. Don't have to do anything to the sign because this is a positive 3. And I get x is less than 5. Now we need to graph it. So I'm going to put my 0 on here. I know my circle is going to go at 5. And because I've got the equal to there, it's going to be a closed circle at 5. Now I need to think, what are some solutions? X is less than 5. What are some numbers that you can go in for 5? Well, 4 is less than or equal to 5. That works. 0 is less than or equal to 5. These numbers are smaller than 5. And how about -2? -2 is less than or equal to 5. So here's 4. 0 is already there. Here's -2. We notice all of our solutions are to the left of my circle. So that's the way I want to shade. And my graph looks like this. So we solve it just like an equation. And then we graph it. So here's example number 2. Example number 2 says solve and graph 14 is greater than -2x plus 8. So just like an equation, our first step is to get rid of this positive 8. We do that by subtracting 8 on both sides. I get 6. 14 minus 8 is 6 is greater than -2x. Now I'm going to divide both sides by -2. What's important to notice is that this is a negative number that I'm dividing by. So this side, 6 divided by -2, will give me 3, or -3. On the other side, I'm just going to have x, but what's important is because I divided by negatives, I have to flip my sign. So I had 6 is greater than -2x, now I have -3 is less than x. Alright, because we divided by a negative, our sign has to switch. So, to graph this, I'm going to put 0 on here. Here's -3. Because there's no equal to, we know it's an open circle. -3 is not in the solution. Now I need to think of some solutions, though. -3 is less than, well, -3 is less than 0. That's true. And -3 is less than 1. That's a number that's bigger than -3. And how about -3 is less than 4? Right? This is negative, this is positive. Obviously, -3 is less than 4. Whoops. I don't know why I said -3 there. That should be a 1. Maybe. Should be a 1. Let's put 4 over here. We notice that all 3 of our solutions are to the right of my circle, so that is the way that I want to shade in. So my graph should look something like this. So that's all there is to it. You just solve it like an equation. If at the end you happen to multiply or divide by a negative number, you flip the sign, and then you graph. Easy, no problem. So, for tonight's try it problem, you need to solve and graph 4x plus 8 is greater than or equal to 40.